Some exam candidates have exam accommodations available based on a psychoeducational assessment. The online portal has the functionality to provide the following exam accommodations: draw on screen, text-to-speech, and multi-part exam. This information will be explained to you during your discussions with the SATCC staff on the setup of your examination. So as you can see on the screen in front of you, you now have two additional options. You have a paintbrush on the top right of the screen, and you see buttons here that provide us with the text-to-speech function. What I'm going to do is demonstrate how these two operate. So I'm going to choose a trade. We'll go back to automotive service technician like we did previously, and we'll select there and we'll start exam. First, we will go into draw on the screen. The paintbrush at the top left of the screen, once you press the paintbrush icon, you will see it is now activated. I'm going to change my line color to, say, blue. This is not a requirement, it's just an option. And you can change the line width a little thicker. For example, if I wanted to cross out options in this screen on this page, when I read the question and I want to make it easier for my choices, for example, I can cross out A and read B, and I say, no, that's not the correct answer. So I'm going to cross it out, and I'm not sure about C and D. I read them twice, and I read this one here, and I want C to be my choice. You would have to disable the canvas, but the strikeouts are still visible, as you can see, and then you can answer the question. And then if you go to the next screen, you will see the strikeouts are still there. So my recommendation, when you're answering a question using draw on screen, and here I will clear the canvas and disable to start over, would be to limit your keystrokes or your choices or your mouse clicks. Would be enable the canvas, go through it, maybe underline a word that I'm thinking about or want to think about more, or highlight. Disable the canvas, make my choice, go to the next question, hit the paintbrush, and clear the canvas, and then disable. Let me demonstrate, for example, on a diagram. So we'll go to question 21, that is a sample diagram, and there's a paintbrush. You do not click this paintbrush, you click the one on the diagram screen. In here you can still manipulate the diagram, move it around, zoom in, zoom out. So you would click on the paintbrush and maybe X this one out. This one's a good one. X this one out. X this one out. I'm not very good with the mouse, but as you can see, you can do all kinds of drawings. And if you clear the canvas and start over, if you want, and you go this one, and then you want to do it again. Oh, no, it's this one. Here are some samples on how to draw on the screen. And then you would disable the canvas, and you could still, you'd have to close the diagram to make your choice and clear the canvas and disable. The big difference is the important piece on that is to disable the canvas to answer the question, or to manipulate on this screen to go to the next question or previous questions. To move around, you have to disable the canvas, and you must clear the canvas. Your notes or your marks you place on the screen are not saved. So keep that in mind. The next accommodation that we have available is text-to-speech. The text-to-speech function can be manipulated in two ways. First of all, you can see the text-to-speech controls are at the bottom. You have the pace or the speed of the speech with the plus or minus. You have the stop button, the pause button, and the play button. You also have an option of 6 different voices that can be changed to one to suit your preference. The one thing to remember is any of the settings, the speed of the voice or the voice type must be chosen when it is not playing. Okay, to manipulate or to operate the text-to-speech, like I mentioned, you pick your voice. When you change, just so you know, when you change the voice, it automatically plays. Once you chose the voice that is your preference, you can just hit play and it will play the entire question with the responses. Here is a sample.
Section A sample questions. When using an oxyacetylene torch, what PPE and safety equipment is required? A. Oxyacetylene goggles, leather gloves, and eye wash station. B. Oxyacetylene goggles, leather gloves, and fire extinguisher. C. Oxyacetylene goggles, cotton gloves, and fire extinguisher. D. Oxyacetylene goggles, cotton gloves, and first aid station.
The second way that the text-to-speech function can be used is you can highlight specific parts or pieces of the question that you want repeated over and over. For example, if you want to know the stem of the question, and that's all you wish to hear, you just left-click, drag your mouse, highlight the stem of the question, for example, and hit play.
When using an oxyacetylene torch, what PPE and safety equipment is required?
You may also just highlight your choices or one specific, and it will play those as well.
A. Oxyacetylene goggles, leather gloves, and eye wash station. B. Oxyacetylene goggles, leather gloves, and fire extinguisher. C. Oxyacetylene goggles, cotton gloves, and fire extinguisher. D. Oxyacetylene goggles, cotton gloves, and first aid station.
Clicking anywhere on the screen will reset the highlight. So if you press play again, it would play the entire question as it did in my first example. Also, one more thing, if you were French or preferred the French option, it will also text-to-speech or play in French. So it will read the French option to you as well, if that's what you wish. The final option for our accommodation is the multi-part exam. In your psychoeducational assessment, a multi-part exam may have been an option for you. So in this screenshot here, similar to the last examples, this shows the trade, but in this case, it shows this exam is broken into two sections or two parts on 2 different days. So on this one, session 1 is May 8th, session 2 is May 15th. You can see both exam times on those 2 dates are at 8 a.m. The exam duration, it's 5 hours split in half. The questions for each section, section 1 is 62 questions, section 2 is 63 questions, and it shows the major work activities that each section covers out of the Red Seal Occupational Standard or the exam information sheet available from your apprenticeship services consultant. This would be your first session, and this would be your second. So in some instances, a person may only write a section of an exam if that was in your assessment. Meanwhile, before those dates, as my sample showed you, you could practice many, many times prior to the first date. And once you're completed the first section, you would be able to practice again as many times as you wish up to the second date of your second exam sitting. I hope this demo assists you in how to use the online portal for your upcoming exam attempt. If you have any additional questions, please contact your apprenticeship services consultant or your nearest SATCC office. Thank you for your time.